So we're running advanced life support engines. We're running BLS, basic life support engines. We cover a large several county area for hazardous materials response and weapons of mass destruction, confined space rescue, high angle rescue, swift water rescue. Basically anytime there's an emergency, we're there.
It's not just a fire department. That's what Operations Battalion Chief Chris Vick says about his department. But because there are more services, cost and efficiency become a much bigger factor.
We're shifting to this all hazards response. So when we buy a piece of equipment, we're trying to make sure that it can respond to whatever incident.
Equipment that has become outdated. The newest truck in the fleet is 8 years old, and the primary ladder truck is 25 years old. But Chief Vick says cost and depreciation play a factor in new equipment purchases.
When you buy a new fire truck, the very next year, it's worth 15% less, and then 10, and then 10 the next year, and then 7. And then finally, after about 7 or 8 years, it starts to level out. But after 10 years, half of its value is gone.
With this in mind, Chief Vick put together a comprehensive capital improvement plan. The idea to get the fleet back up to standard. After a year's work, he crunched the number he says the department needs just to be back on par, $1.6 million.
This is a sticker shock with $1.6 million. The $1 million of that is one vehicle, the ladder truck. And almost every city across the country, their most expensive expenditure for a capital improvement is going to be as a ladder truck. $1 million for one vehicle sounds crazy, and I understand that. But every city goes through that same problem with their ladder truck is most often their most expensive piece of equipment they've ever bought.
But the alternative to not purchasing is more worrisome. As of this recording, that ladder truck was going under maintenance again. And what's the backup when it goes down?
Now we're using a 2001 F450, which is a squad vehicle. It has a small pump. They used to run a lot of our medical calls, but now it's mainly designated as a brush response for a brush fire or grass fire. Basically, we hook it up to a trailer and we stack it full of ground ladders, a couple 35-foot ladders and some other ones, but the longest one we can get in there is a 35-footer. And that's our ladder truck.
The need for this equipment is not lost on Mayor Randy Horton.
There's no question we have to have that engine. We have to have it. And so they'll pay for it out of their budget, and then if something else happens during the year, we just have to appropriate it out of the general fund.
And that took me a year to get all my figures, all my numbers, and say, look, this is where we're at. And that $1.6 million is just to get back on a level playing field and to start a plan for the future.